Hello, my name is Paul Ferentz. I'm the Apprenticeship and Training Director for the Bricklayers Local 1, Maryland, Virginia, DC. Today we will be discussing the water level and how to put it together with the different types of fluids. We will be discussing the builder's level and the transit with the measuring rod. We will also be covering the laser levels with the measuring rod and the laser receiver. So let's go train. So first, we will cover the water level. We have the hose, the tubing, clear tubing. We also have the end fittings that slide onto the end of the tube. From there, we have the caps that will enclose this to keep the water from coming out. We have our colored fluids. We could have plain water. We have windshield washer fluid. We have a cola. We have a tea, and we also have coffee. Any of these poured inside of the tube will be able to give you a good reading, be able to see. So the reason why water levels are so accurate is that you will notice here, I poured a little bit of windshield washer fluid into a container. And now that is somewhat level, if I tip the container one way, the water still stays level. If I tip it the other way, the water still stays level. Water always finds level. The tubing, the fittings, and the fluids, we're looking at approximately a $30 cost for a level that has been around forever. The Babylonians used it to build their temples, the Greeks, the Romans. It's been tried and true for centuries. So you always want to inspect your tubing. It's just like any tool that you have in your arsenal, level, trowel, whatever, your hammers. You always want to make sure it's in good condition. Here is an example of one that wasn't taken care of. There's kinks in here that will hinder the accuracy of the level itself. Also too, this one has a hole in it because this was filled at one time and it leaked itself out. So once you determine that your tube is good, then you can fill it up. So now that it's filled and ready, let's go shoot some heights. So now that the tubes are filled and we're here at our mock-up, I want to demonstrate on how water finds its level. No matter what we do to the tubes, the water will stay level. I loosen the caps so that air can come in and out, and I'm going to raise this one up 3 to 4 inches, and you will notice that the water will come straight back down to being level with the other one. This is why we still use water to this day, because water finds its own level. Okay, so right now we're going to look at this. I'm going to have my colleague Jack help me with this. He's going to put this water level, this end, right on this corner right there, and I'm going to go on the other side and make my mark. So I'm going to make sure that I don't have any tangles in it. I'm going to bring this down so Jack can get right down to his mark. Once he has that, I'm going to put my mark over here. You good, Jack? Okay, so you can see over here, my water has stopped in my tube, and Jack is good. I'm going to put my mark. Now that I have my mark, I can go around the corner and make my mark in the back. So with the water level, you can go around radiuses, corners, up and down hills, valleys, wherever. This water will be the same height as that side. So let's go around the back side. Now I came around the corner and I'm waiting for the water to stop moving up and down. I'm going to make my mark right here. That's my mark, same height as over there. Now if we continue from here and go around, it would hit exactly to that point over there. All right, so now that we finished with our water level, we use this point right here as our zero mark, our zero height. This is where we will be shooting all of our heights from. I've laid out line and line blocks, so we're going to show you how well this is. So here's my mark here. And then here's my other mark right there. So we can use this to verify our height. So I'm going to put it right over here, dead center. We set one side in, get it close, bring that right there, line up, and as you can see, it's 100%. So we use the water level to shoot our heights. Now we use the level and verify the heights to be exactly on. We covered the components of a water level, from the tubings to the fittings to the caps. We also talked about the different types of fluids that you can use inside of a water level. We talked about the histories, starting back with the Babylonians till present time. We went and shot some heights on a mock-up wall by using this water level. And finally, we checked our work with a line and a level. The next levels that we're going to be trying is the builder's level and the transit. Today we're going to learn on how to set these up, and we're going to shoot a height from one point to another by using this measuring rod right here. There are many other functions that these precision tools can do. We'll be covering those in future videos, but for today, we'll be discussing the very basics, shooting height from one point to another. To start, let's go over the different components of each tool. Follow me. So here we have a builder's level and we have a transit. I'm going to show you the different components of each. The transit can be used for horizontal and vertical, while the builder's level is strictly horizontal. So I'm going to talk about the builder's level. We have our eyepiece right here. We have the end of the telescope lens. We have our focus knob right here. We have our instrument level vial. We have our horizontal graduated circle. We have our horizontal vernier, which is right here. We have our horizontal clamp, which is here. And we have our horizontal tangent screw, which is here. On the bottom side of the builder's level, we have 4 leveling screws, and we have a 5/8 threaded receiver for the tripod. Now, all components of the builder's level can be found on the transit. There are some pieces that are the same, but some that are different. Just to recap, we have the same features: the circle, the vernier, the level, but we also have this right here. This is the telescope locking lever. So once you pop this open, the telescope can go up and down. We also have the vertical arc, which is this part right here, where you see the actual degrees. We also have the vertical clamp screws, which is this right here. And also we have the tangent, which is this right here. On the bottom side of this, it has 3 adjustment screws for the base, and we have a 5/8 threaded female receiver for the tripod. So now that we covered the components of the builder's level and the transit, I want to introduce you to rod etiquette. You want to make sure that the rod is plumb to your body so that the guy who is shooting the heights using the transit or the builder's level can see you with the rod. So you put it in front of you like this, make sure it's nice and plumb, and then you're on mark. Okay, now that we're here, you want to make sure that you set your tripod in an area where you can see the views that you have to shoot. You want to make sure that the tripod is somewhat level. You want to hold it gently with both hands and place it on top of the table right here. So you see there's a bubble right there. You want to push so that the telescope right here is over these two adjustable screws. And you're going to tighten. Wherever the bubble is, shows that it's higher on that end. So if I'm turning this one clockwise, it's raising this end up. I got this pretty close. So now I'm going to transfer or spin this around 90 degrees. Make sure you step around it, so if you hit the tripod, you got to reset it. So it shows that this area right here is high. So I'm going to loosen this one and tighten this base. Now that we have everything set up, I want to give you a little bit of a tip. These silver screws right here is dead center of the telescope. So what you want to do is line that up to the person or to the level stick where you're shooting at. So now I have my colleague Jack down there holding the measuring rod. I'm going to look through there and see what kind of number I have. Focusing in, and there we go. All right, Jack, I got 8.5 inches. Bring the rod this way. So while he's bringing it over this way, I am going to spin this to the area where I need to and line my center screws up with the area where I need to shoot. And that'll give me time to get everything lined up before my colleague Jack gets to the corner. So now that we established our height was 8.5 inches, Jack came over here to the corner to shoot the height. Okay, I'm gonna focus in. There you go. Okay, Jack, I need you to go up, 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 a little bit, oh, down a hair, oh, a little bit too much, just up a little bit. Oh, right there. Okay, mark it. Okay, now that we got that mark established from there to there, we're gonna transfer it to over there. Now we have Jack in position. Make sure that that rod is straight up and down. Can you be on the other side, Jack? Perfect. All right. Let me focus in. All right. Looks good. Jack, come down a little bit. A little bit. A little bit. Oh, up just a hair. Okay, oh, down just a smudge. Right there. Mark it. Perfect, Jack, thank you. So now that we have this already established, that height, this height to that height, we transfer the height from that one part over there, the mixing area, to the corner of this opening, and shot it to the control joint where Jack is. So thank you, Jack, you come on back. Today we discussed the builder's level and all the components that makes up the builder's level. From there we went to the transit and we talked about all the components in the transit that makes up the transit. Also too, I talked about rod measuring etiquette, making sure that that rod is nice and straight. From there we discussed about how to set up the tripod, making sure that the base is nice and flat, level. From there we showed you how to anchor from this screw down here to anchor the builder's level. And then we did our adjustments to make sure that the level is right by adjusting these level screws. From there, I had my colleague Jack hold the measuring rod on one point, then we transfer the height to another point. From there, we transfer the height to another point. So now that we covered these levels, let's move on to the next level. Our last level that we'll be discussing is the builder's laser level. Right here we have the laser component itself. There's two features that this could use. This could be just a regular red light, or you can use this receiver, laser receiver, to tell you if you're high, low, or right on. We also have the tripod, which has to be set up similar or exactly the same as the transit and the builder's level. And we have our measuring rod right here. Just like the transit and the builder's level, it's the same setup. What's nice about this level is you could set it anywhere. You could set it on the counter, on a stable surface, or you could set it on the tripod, and that's what we're going to use today. What's nice about this, it's self-leveling. All you have to do is just turn it on. It'll automatically level itself. Right there, you see the line. There's several ways of checking the height. You could use that rod right there, measuring rod, or you could even pull out your ruler. One thing you have to really be careful about is that that laser can burn your eyeballs. So you want to make sure that you take precaution when you're working around lasers. We are looking at eventually taking these off and putting tile up here. So we need to get our heights and establish a line. So what I want to know is how the countertop is. So I'm going to put my ruler right here, and right now I am at 26 and 9/16. So I can go over there and measure and see what the difference in height is. Now, what's nice about the laser level is I'm going to lower this down because I don't need all that height. I could take this laser receiver, just turn it on, turned on. So what I want to do is set my rod right there, and now I'm going to have an issue because it's going to be right at this point. So what I need to do now is either adjust that or lower it down to the table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the tripod just so that I can use that rod. Mind you, without looking at the laser, you bring it down, or best bet, turn it off. Kind of get an idea of where the rod will be to that. Looks like that would be perfect. I'm going to anchor or lock this into place. Turn on the laser, it'll level itself. And you can see I lowered the line down. Remember, I was how high? 26 and 9/16. So right now I'm at 18 and I would say a heavy 3/4. Take my rod right here. This is still turned on. And when you hear that high-pitched beeping, it means that everything is on. It's right on level. Now, if I was to go up higher, you'll see an arrow pointing down to say I'm too high. Now, if I was too low, it'll do the same thing. It'll have an arrow pointing up, showing that I need to raise this up. So right now, when you hear that high-pitched beeping, I'm right on. Now I'm going to move down just a little bit, just to see where I'm at. And I'm right on. I can do that all the way around this room. I can go at any counter. I could even bring it forward. Now it shows that I need to go up. So if it's showing that I need to go up, that means that this counter is leaning. So to go up, I'm that much of a difference. I'm about 1/4 inch. If I go to this corner here, I'm low. So I got to raise this up about that much, about the same thing, 1/4 inch. So what this is telling me is that this counter is high over here and it's pitching towards the outside. So just to verify our measurements from here, we are at 18 and 3/4. And when I move it to here, I'm at 19 inches exactly. So I'm 1/4 inch difference. Whenever the number goes higher, that was 18, and it goes to 19, that means that I am dropping. Same thing here. Here's my laser. I'm at 19 exactly. From this point to this point is 19, and we have 18 and 3/4, 18 and 3/4 over there. With the builder's laser level, I showed you what a builder's laser level is, how it's self-leveling. You can set it on a tripod or on a stable, secure surface. I also showed you the laser receiver and how it beeps, if it's high or low. It has arrows, and also too the high-pitched beep, beep, beep. That means that it's right on. Also talked about the measuring rod. We also covered our trusty ruler. Now this will give us an exact height. So like we put it right here, it was 18 and 3/4. When we put it at this counter, it was 19. So it showed that it was lower by 1/4 inch. This is a one-person level thing. Compared to like a builder's level, transit, or water level, you need 2 people. With one of these, it's a one-person thing. So you could be left on a job site by yourself, or if you're doing stuff around your house, this would be able to help you out instead of counting on another person to help hold something. This still needs calibration, so you need to shoot a couple heights from time to time to make sure you're right on, just like the builder's level in transit. Water level, you never have to, self-leveling. One last point on the levels. We had 3 different types of environments to highlight each level. We had the laser level in here, inside of a room, how it's a 1-person level. And we had the builder's level in the transit. We had that outside where you're more prone to using that. And we used the water level inside to go around corners. We wanted to show you what each level can do and where you should expect to see these levels. Thank you for tuning into this special 3-part training video where we covered the water level, a builder's level, a transit, a laser level. We covered a lot. But hopefully you learned something new, and we look forward to training with you again soon. Until then, make sure you check out our website and follow us on social media for more Local One content. As always, stay safe and see you next time.